All right, that was Danita Haddon singing Hold On to Your Faith. And that's what we have to do. We have to hold on to our faith, because without our faith, we got nothing. There's no hope. Hey, it's me, your girl Mary, here at Melvin's Mission, supporting women, survivors of homicide. I Am a Survivor show. I just want to shout out and say to all my survivors out there, I hope you're well. I hope things are going good for you. I'm thinking of you. I know you're thinking of me because I feel your love. I hear your love. And I just thank you for all the support that you show me and all the conversations that we have, and, you know, just sharing our histories and what connects us together. Even though it's, you know, a sad situation that does connect us, we're connected. We have each other. And all we got to do is hold on to our faith. Listen, today's subject, I want to talk about, you know, of course, gun violence, gun laws. Everybody's talking about it. Other countries are talking about it. Here in the United States, what are we going to do? Why can't we come together and figure this thing out? To me, it's very simple. Tighten up the gun laws. But we do. We have those that are fighting against that, that feel that, you know, they have a right to have shotguns, you know, crazy weapons in their houses and all these things. And what's happening is that it's a tug-of-war situation. They want us to bend. We want them to bend. We have to come in the middle, because that's the only way we're going to solve this thing. But what I wanted to focus on today was inner city shooting versus outer city shooting. And what I'm talking about is the crimes that go on in the inner city communities. How are they different, or are they different from suburban crimes, crimes that are outside of the inner city? Listen, murder is murder. Shooting someone with a gun is shooting someone with a gun. Having a illegal gun or even a licensed gun, and you take that thing and think that you can just go and shoot somebody and it's all right. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. And not only are you taking the life of the victim, you're also taking the life of those that are left behind. So in the inner cities, African Americans and other minorities are daily bombarded by crime, especially youth carrying unlicensed guns they're not supposed to have, and doing all types of crimes. The number one crime is murdering others. How is this happening? Why are these guns getting to these young people? And who is it that is supplying these guns? Someone out there is giving these young people guns to go around and kill their brothers and sisters, to kill their friends, to kill family members, and it's totally ridiculous. The inner city is filled with so many tragedies, and this isn't new. My thing is, why all of a sudden gun violence has taken this great big stance? Now, we know, of course, there have been massacres. There have been great tragedies. But my thing is this, people. This has been going on for a long, long time. Every single life is precious. Whether it is a life or a shooting in an inner city or life of one person versus out of the inner city in multiple lives. It's wrong and it should not happen anywhere. But we know we don't live in a perfect world. And even though that's true, are we supposed to sit around and allow these things to happen in our communities? I want to touch on the situation that happened in Texas. I don't know if you guys heard about it. There was a shooting at a college, a community college in Texas. And I imagine what happened, or I think what happened was it was like a rival thing. They knew each other. But the point is, here you are in college, entering with a gun. I believe 3 people were shot. I'm not sure. I don't think there was a tragedy, but 3 people were shot. The gun should not have been in the school. Chaos was everywhere. But I had heard some statements from reporters, that were talking about the incident in Texas. And one reporter said something to the effect of, oh, well, this happens all the time in Chicago. Now, mind you, this happened in Texas, but this is his thing that he said, oh, this happens all the time in Chicago. Oh, they have shootouts and have to run off their porches, not to get shot. This incident wasn't like the person went into school to cause mayhem. This happens all the time. That was an issue for me. That statement was an issue for me because how can you say it didn't measure up to any other shooting that has taken place? Guns should not be in schools, colleges, etc. There was a shootout. Many young people could have got murdered that day. Professors could have got murdered. So many innocent people could have got murdered. But thank God they didn't. But how do you even fix your mouth to make statements like that? Is it because of the high homicide rate in the inner cities? So this is expected of young minorities? This when a shooting happens in an inner city, is it not important? Is the life of that person lost? Is that so not precious? How do we say it's normal for the inner city to kill each other, but when we go out of the inner city and go into other communities, it becomes this great big issue? This has been going on for a long, long time. We have been having young people who had guns confiscated from them in a school setting. And I understand that there was nothing as big as Connecticut. Oh, I know. God rest those baby souls in the adults who were also victims of that tragedy. But I just don't want us to feel like what happens in the inner city is not important, or that, we're just going to dust it off our shoulder because these were young minorities and this is expected of them. I totally disagree with that. There are wonderful, wonderful young people in inner cities that are doing great things. They're doing fantastic things. And we have to start encouraging them and lifting them up, because all of them are not gangbangers. All of them are not shooting up places. All young people in the inner city are not on drugs. They're not selling drugs. We have to stop putting a Band-Aid on this thing called injustice and look at it for what it is and work on that situation. Listen to me. We can tell the NRA to stop. We can say to them, we don't want guns, we don't want this, we don't want that. And even if we could get those things to happen, what about the underlying subject that nobody really wants to deal with when it comes to this gun control issue? What about all the young inner city, minority, low income, young people who are dying every single day on our streets because of gun violence? They are important. Now, when you look at shootings in places that are outside of the inner cities, even in the media, they are examined differently. They are showcased differently. It's always extra media on those subjects. It's never dug in deep or somewhat guessing that, who this person is, why they did what they did. I noticed in Texas, another reporter said something like, here we are again with another, shooting in the inner city. And it meant nothing, because it was like they're thugs. It was like this is what they do. People, gun control is needed. But do you want to know what is needed even more? Injustice. We have to fight injustice. You can't continue to pretend that nothing happens outside of the inner city, because it does. It might happen in a different way. It may not get the media, the negative media coverage that the inner city gets, but it happens. Look at the case of the young man in New Mexico. His parents had a gun in the house. He took it. He killed everyone in the family. Why? Why is this happening? These guns that are in these homes, they must be secure. I believe this. If you own a gun, it is in your home. You must have a place where that gun is locked up. No one can get into that case but you. And, and place it where your kids don't know where it is, or no one in the family knows where it is, because these shootings, especially these recent ones, are happening. Why? Because you have a gun in your home. And if you did not have that gun in your home, guess what? Those people would be here today. So we have to first, I believe, we got to educate these parents who have these guns, who feel they have the need. And yes, you do. Second Amendment says you have the right to bear arms. You do have the right to own a gun. But if you're going to own that thing, be responsible for that thing. And another thing that I thought about was, if you're going to own a gun and that gun kills someone takes your gun and they go and murder somebody, you need to also be persecuted. You need to be prosecuted because that was your gun and you did not take the time to make sure that gun was secure and that no one could get that gun and go and kill someone else. Now, you may not agree, and that's okay, because everybody has a right to their own opinion. But I'm going to tell you this. Until it touches you, until your loved one has been taken from you because somebody thought it was okay to take a gun and kill your loved one, you probably will never understand where myself and so many other survivors are coming from. And this is why Melvin's mission is here, to educate you, to let you know how we feel, how we're bleeding inside. Because of all this media hype, all this government mixture, and here we are. We've lost loved ones the same way by gun violence. People feel alone. People feel as if their loved ones are not as important. But I come today to tell everyone out there, rich, poor, black, white, Christian, non-Christian, Jew, Gentile, that every single person that died from gun violence, you are important. Oh, yes, you are.